Our top stories tonight. President Jacob Zuma responds to his critics and takes a swipe at former President Thabo Mbeki. Finance Minister Pravin Gordhan says fraud charges against him were politically motivated. Right, this is eNews Direct Weekend Edition. I'm Flola Doba. Very good evening to you.
Hi, and I'm Oji Molefe.
You can track our main stories using the following hashtags: ANC Dumbe Rally, SANDF, and Seneca.
And you can comment on any of our stories by following us on Facebook and Twitter at eNews Direct, or check out our content on our website, which is eNCA.com/direct.
All right, we start with this. 2 university students have drowned at a team-building event in Pretoria. Paramedics say they drowned when their boat capsized at a dam. The 2 are part of a group of students that had been attending a year-end function. Both bodies have been recovered from the dam. ANC President Jacob Zuma did not pull any punches as he hit back at his critics. Zuma took a swipe at former President Thabo Mbeki and ANC veterans who've called on him to step down. However, he steered clear of the Public Protector's State of Capture report. He was addressing party supporters during an election celebration in eDumbe in KwaZulu-Natal.
Whenever President Jacob Zuma loses a battle or feels backed into a corner, he goes to his home province of KwaZulu-Natal, where he's always assured of a hero's welcome. He began his speech by thanking eDumbe residents for voting the ANC in the recent local government elections. But Zuma came here pregnant with anger over calls for him to step down. Some of those have come from veterans of the ANC.
Abekho instructions ke-ANC noma ngabe ukuyiphi into eyenziwa i-ANC abekho. Namhlanje bagqugquzela imhlangano ngaphandle kwezakhiwo ze-ANC. Bathi bona babaluleke kakhulu ukudlula laba base-instruction. Kufuneka ukuthi ANC izwe ngabo. Indlela abayenza ngayo alikhomba uphawu ukuthi bayazi ngokuphelele i-ANC.
Civil society has also been mounting pressure on Zuma, with some using the courts. But the ANC president says he's not moved.
Uyabona ngisho noma ngathiwa ngiyaboshwa namhlanje. Hayi ngikujwayele ukuboshwa mina. Ngadonsa ishumi leminyaka ejele. Angeke ungesabise ngejele. Angilesabi. Ngiphuma khona lapha.
Zuma's last punch was saved for his predecessor, Thabo Mbeki. Mbeki wrote to Zuma on Thursday, pleading with him to listen to veterans of the party.
Awukayitholi wena incwadi. Incwadi siya-analyzewa le kude. Yakho le ncwadi.
President Jacob Zuma concluded his speech by telling the community of eDumbe that a big celebration awaited them. 5 cows were slaughtered as part of the ANC's gift to the community for voting for the party in the recent local government elections. Olimgambi, eDumbe in KwaZulu-Natal.
Finance Minister Pravin Gordhan says fraud charges against him were politically motivated. He was addressing an audience in Durban via video message as a part of a memorial lecture for struggle icon Billy Naya. Gordhan also thanked the public for its support.
A full house at the memorial lecture in honor of anti-apartheid activist Billy Naya. Finance Minister Pravin Gordhan was meant to deliver the keynote address. Instead, he sent a recorded message because he's not well. Gordhan wasted no time expressing his feelings on the charges he was facing.
Of course, we also had other events, like politically motivated charges against Makashula, Ivan Pillay, and myself. So today, that part of the secret is out as well.
The finance minister took a swipe at the Guptas, who'd allegedly tried to bribe his deputy.
We must all agree that anybody who's offered 600 million or 600,000 must refuse it. That's matter of being a person of integrity. We want to do what we have to do on our own steam, for our own country, for our own people.
In Gordhan's absence, former Cabinet Minister J. Naidu delivered the keynote address. He says poor decisions are killing democratic South Africa.
The political and economic impact of bad decisions, such as the firing of Nhlanhla Nene, the fake, trumped-up, frivolous charges brought against our Minister of Finance, was an attempt to loot our public coffers.
Ahmed Katrada was also honoured at the event for his contribution to the country. Desan Tathia, Durban.
One of the recommendations by the former Public Protector's State of Capture report raises legal questions. That's the view of retired Deputy Chief Justice Dikgang Moseneke. This relates to Thuli Madonsela's recommendation that it's the country's Chief Justice that should appoint a judge to head up an inquiry into state capture. Moseneke also warns retired judges against commenting publicly on politics. He was speaking at the launch of his book, I Am My Own Liberator.
Minister in the Presidency Jeff Hadebe joined former Deputy Chief Justice Dikgang Moseneke at the launch of his book. Moseneke couldn't escape questions about Thuli Madonsela's State of Capture report. The audience of lawyers, business people and academics wanted his take on the former Public Protector's order that Justice Mogoeng appoint a judge to head up a commission of inquiry into state capture.
It's supposed to be the Public Protector who appoints someone, or is it the President, since he is the one who is in question?
Moseneke says the recommendation has sparked a complex legal debate.
Where the President is the person to be investigated, the question must arise, who then appoints the commission to investigate the President? And that is an open legal question, because ordinarily the law doesn't allow you to be an arbiter in your own cause.
Moseneke was cagey, saying retired judges should avoid publicly commenting on political developments, as some may be called in to mediate.
I believe our people are their own liberators. They are their own judges. They will judge the rights and wrongs of what's happening currently. So it doesn't need me to make pronouncements at this stage, and some of these matters are still before the courts, or I may become involved in some way.
He ended by thanking South Africans for believing in the country's judicial independence. Thuba Vilane, Durban.
Residents of Cape Town Township in affluent Hout Bay say they're homeowners, but they don't actually live in their houses. A housing project left some people without houses, even though they have title deeds and keep getting high utility bills.
It's not nice what they do to us. They got houses, they live in houses, and us, we don't live in houses. So how do you feel? And us got the title deeds, got the water bills in our hands, and they keep on saying, we're going to build. Is this fine?
Tired of empty promises. Residents here say the indignity of living in shacks needs to end. Priscilla Moloke says she's one of 74 residents who own government-issued houses on paper, but another family lives in her home.
I don't have a house.
Meanwhile, utility bills in her name are piling up.
It's 4,780. Then every time when I go, they give me every month water bill. Every time I go to them, to the city council and go and show them, then they say, no, Mama, you people doesn't want to pay the water.
Another resident claims their houses were sold illegally.
If bona ba fine bachile bona, because abanye bayatsho ngemilomo abathi bazithengile izindlu nge 10,000. Which is bona if bona bahluthi because abizuso abanaxesha lamunye umuntu.
The Housing Committee chairperson denies this.
Whoever that is in the house and that has confessed that this person has got this house by paying so and so, that person or whoever that is in line with that person should go and lay charge, so that the individual that is actually practically involved in a corrupt practices the law should actually take its course.
Bezile says the city is to blame, mixing up names of recipients on the housing list and wrongfully issuing title deeds.
In a statement, the City of Cape Town admits that the wrong title deeds were handed out, but the correct housing subsidies were allocated. The city says they're currently working on rectifying the issue by building houses for people who have deeds but no homes, and for those in the housing project's backlog. Piladi Situsa, Imizamo Yethu.
Turning now to news-making headlines further afield. The battle for the Iraqi city of Mosul continues. Fighting has intensified in the offensive aimed at retaking the Islamic State stronghold. Iraqi special forces say they have now recaptured 6 of the city's districts. The fighting has displaced an increasing number of civilians. The 3-week-old offensive is the biggest ground operation in the country since the US-led invasion in 2003. Fighting is likely to resume in the Syrian city of Aleppo after a short ceasefire came to an end. Russian and Syrian government troops seized hostilities for 10 hours yesterday. This was to allow armed rebels and civilians to leave the city through humanitarian corridors. But organizations on the ground reportedly say no one left the besieged area. Some Syrian media say rebels prevented civilians from leaving. Eastern Aleppo is the last major rebel stronghold. Thank you, Oji. Well, coming up after the break. If you're a UB40 fan, you're in for a massive treat. Do stay with us. Welcome back. A special fundraising music festival has been held in the mother city. Proceeds from the Glitter Festival will fund a new magazine for the LGBTI community. Revelers were treated to the sounds of Freshly Ground and other bands.
Glitter and entertainment, all for an important cause. The first ever Glitter Festival is raising money to empower members of the LGBTI community. Organizers will use the funds to print a new magazine called One Voice.
The One Voice project is all about we're creating an informational and educational magazine for underprivileged people in the townships that are LGBTI that don't actually have access to certain materials to help them.
The magazine will include vital crisis information like what to do when you are sexually abused or how to deal with trauma. The Pride Shelter Trust, which comes to the aid of vulnerable LGBTI groups, stands to benefit. As a non-governmental organization, the shelter is constantly grappling with funding and relies on donations.
We provide short-term accommodation and support to LGBTI people during crisis periods in their lives.
Organizers are hoping to distribute the magazine to other provinces. Arti Narsi, Cape Town.
Well, one of the world's most popular reggae bands is in the country to wow audiences. If Red Red Wine or Kingston Town sounds familiar to you, then there's no need to guess who we're referring to.
It's a tune we've all sang along to throughout the years, and one that's put Britain's biggest reggae band on the map nearly 30 years ago. Now the band's original members, Ali Campbell, Astro and Mickey Virtue, are back in town. This time to take us down memory lane with their Red Red Wine tour.
You've been going for so long, over 30 years, right?
Yep.
How do you manage to keep it together and still stay relevant after all these years?
Well, you know, the lyrics that we started off doing, you know, they are still relevant. If you think about what Astro was singing about politicians, you know, we just did an American tour, you know, to be singing politician in America as this election is going on is hilarious as far as I'm concerned. And we've never strayed away from the same subject, you know.
And if you've ever wondered just what the band's title actually stood for, all is revealed.
UB means unemployment benefit, and 40 was a registration number. When we grew up, we were thrown out of school in Thatcher's England, and we were all unemployed apart from Mickey, who had loads of jobs. But the majority of us were unemployed, so we had a UB40 card, unemployment benefit card, and that's how you got your money from the state.
The trio plans to perform in Cape Town this weekend before heading to Port Elizabeth, Durban and Johannesburg.
I don't know
this one, but... And just to whet your appetites, we've joined in as a little backup to see what's to come.
Oh, that's me.
She's gone crazy, everybody.
Tanya Neft, Cape Town.
All right, that's your entertainment news for tonight. After the break, Joel Guy has your weather forecast.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Weather Center. Here's what we've been seeing throughout Saturday on this satellite picture. Lots of storm clouds drifting across much of the interior. And if we zoom in, you can easily make out pretty big storm systems affecting the western part of the Free State, much of Gauteng and the Mpumalanga Highveld. Now, some of these thunderstorms are going to stay with us throughout the night as we head into Sunday. Now, talking of Sunday, things are not going to change much for much of the interior. We should continue to see isolated to scattered rain and thunder showers extending from the northern areas down into southern South Africa and pushing eastwards into Mpumalanga. The Limpopo province is going to get away with partly cloudy skies, but it's going to be very hot in most areas. Mostly sunny skies are forecast over western South Africa. KwaZulu-Natal is going to be mostly cloudy with rain and thunder showers in most areas. Temperatures in the lower 20s along the coastal areas, cooler for the southern sections. We are expecting a cloudy and rainy day for much of the Eastern Cape, where temperatures in the upper teens and lower 20s are forecast for much of the province. It's going to be sunnier and warmer for much of the Western Cape. Cape Town warming to around 24 degrees. Clear blue skies are forecast for the western areas of the Northern Cape, but it's going to be partly cloudy over the eastern areas where a chance of thunder showers is expected in places. We are going to have unsettled weather for the Free State. Bloemfontein warming to 25, cooler as we go towards Bethlehem and Harrismith. Unsettled weather is also forecast further north across the northwest, where temperatures in the lower 30s and mid 30s are expected. A dry one across the Limpopo province, hot across the Lowveld areas, and a high of 31 is forecast for Polokwane. We are also going to see thunder showers in the afternoon across the Mpumalanga Highveld areas. Mbombela warming to around 30 degrees. Afternoon and evening showers are also forecast for Gauteng. A high of 33 is forecast for Pretoria. We stay with unsettled weather on Monday for much of the interior. Rainy conditions for KwaZulu-Natal and the eastern parts of the Eastern Cape. Then on Tuesday, thunder showers are forecast for much of the interior. Light rain and drizzle along the south and the east coast.
All right, here's a recap of your top stories. President Jacob Zuma responds to his critics and takes a swipe at former President Thabo Mbeki. All right, that's a wrap from the eNews Direct team.
Until next time, good night.